Steve Bowers welcoming you to Dialogue here at E Plus TV 6, a special edition. Willi X Evans, Nashville, and Parts Unknown. Willi X Evans is parked right now at the Legends of Tennessee Music Museum at the Carnegie, right in front of the huge guitar that's on display there. By the way, that museum is open 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. each day, Tuesday through Saturday. If you haven't been, come see us in Jackson, Tennessee. Be sure to visit there. And we have a very, very special guest who's on the road with the Oak Ridge Boys. So we got things to do, Willi.
That's right. This is, hey, August, hey, Max, hey, Millie. This is my buddy Darin Favorite. He is on the road. We caught him on the road in his hotel. So we're glad he got to be on the show.
Yeah, all right. Darin's good to have you with us.
Hey, it's great to be here, Steve.
Yeah, it said you were planning on being at home or in your new studio that you're opening up at your house, right?
Yeah, well, it's my overdub room I use in the bottom. I live in Wedgwood, Houston, in Nashville, and I turned my basement basically into a giant guitar recording facility. So I get emailed tracks, I play guitar on them and send them back.
Okay, well, it's, technology, Willi, that's what's happening out there, right?
That's the deal.
Darin was just in our city with the Oak Ridge Boys, on the road with the Oak Ridge Boys. So how's that tour going?
Oh, it's great. We're in Huntsville today, or outside of Huntsville, our hotel. Hence why we were running a little behind today. Not terrible, but anyway, it's going great. We're going to Huntsville, and then we're Mobile, and then we're in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Or Hattiesburg. Sorry, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, then home.
Okay.
And then we go again. We leave and go to Ohio next week.
Okay. How'd you link up with them, Darin?
Well, their guitar player of, I don't know, 27 years, Don Carr,
right,
decided he was going to change and go do some work with Sweetwater. And this was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Scotty Simpson, the bass player who I had hired with Pam Tillis back in the 90s, was needing a guitar player. So he decided to give me a call. And at that time, I didn't take it. I went out with Tracy Lawrence instead and worked with Pam some more. But here recently, Roger Eaton, who had taken Donnie's place, left. So then they called and I said yes.
Okay. All right. So it's timing and connections out there, right? How long you been doing? Yeah. How long you been doing this?
42 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been touring 42 years.
42 years. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Started how and when, Darin?
Let's see. It started in 1980, 81 when I moved to LA. Hence the Little Richard. I grew up a preacher's kid. All right.
Okay.
My stepdad was Jimmy Snow, who was Hank Snow's
Okay. Yes. All right. Awesome.
And Dottie is my mother. So
okay.
Yeah. So they came to our Little Richard came to our church during the gospel era, I'll say.
Right. Right.
And R.A. Bumps Blackwell, his manager, heard me play, and he was blind. He couldn't even see me. Asked my mother who was playing guitar. She said, "That's my son." He said, "I've got an institution in L.A., North Hollywood, that's for the arts." He said, "I would like to have your son come out and go to school."
Okay.
So that's how I got my start.
So you were playing in the band there at Reverend Snow's church then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you'd been doing that how long?
Maybe a year and a half.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
I want to pick that story up in a moment. So you go to LA to the Institute. So what happens out there?
Well, I meet Jay Graydon and Dean Parks and Greg Moore, all these great guitar players. I was put in situations where I had to play on sessions. So I was going in with Bumps, put me in with doing with the Zigzag Man was one of the sessions I remember doing as a 15, 16-year-old. I think I was still 15. So yeah, it was pretty intense training and music theory, appreciation for different styles, a philosophy. He mentored my thought process in working in this business, because as we all know, it's an eat or be eaten business a little bit.
Okay. Wow, that is.
Yeah.
So he obviously recognized something special in you, or he would never open that door.
I think so. That was God giving me a here's your path kind of moment. This is what I gave you, this gift. Here's what, I want you to follow it this direction.
One of the ironies I find in all of this, of course, Jimmy Snow's famous. There's a clip of him talking about rock and roll saying it's the beat. The beat is the beat. Yeah, that devil thing. And so all those turns in this life. So you had to have some unusual experiences in being at that church.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was I skateboarded a lot. So I was outside skateboarding down the big hill and down by the choir bus. We went on choir trips when I was a kid because, if they're going to do a choir trip, they have to take the kids. I mean,
right. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Chris Christopherson had some kind of profound experience at that church. He talks about it because he writes "Why Me, Lord" after that, right?
Yes. Why Me,
Were
Lord.
you there?
Yep. Yes, I was there
that night. Wow.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So what happened?
I was a kid that was more concerned about being thirsty than who was Johnny Cash, Marty Stewart, Bill Monroe. All these people came to our church, so it was like I didn't pay much attention to it.
Yeah, the kid. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I remember him singing it, I believe, in church by himself.
Yeah.
So I think that was a pretty cool thing to remember.
Yeah, because the story he tells, I think he told it to Ralph Emery, is that I didn't tend to walk down front. I was walking down front. I was holding up my hand. I was, and I don't remember doing any of this. And he knew something had happened. And now that, well, that's an amazing thing. So you saw Dolly Parton and a bunch of other people then, I guess, in those.
Absolutely, yes. I remember Dolly giving me a hug when I was like 7 or 8. I remember it very profoundly.
Yeah. Lord, take me now. It's not going to get any better than this. Okay. That's
right, Steve.
Oh, me. Darin Favorite is with us. We got a lot of things to talk about. We've got him in LA, and we're going to pick it up because he's been doing this, he says, over 4 decades, and we're talking to him on the road. This is Dialogue at E+ TV6 with Willi X. Evans in Nashville and parts unknown. Welcome back to Dialogue at E+ TV6. Willi X. Evans, Nashville and parts unknown. Willi X is at the Legends of Tennessee Music Museum here in Jackson. Darin Favorite is our guest. He is on the road. And to Willi, last time we left Darin, he was hugging Dolly Parton.
That's right.
or she was hugging him.
Yeah, I was the kid. Yeah, we'd seen at the church. It was called Evangel Temple.
Yeah.
There's an actual Facebook page that has all the people that went to the Evangel Temple. Because we had the Grand Ole Gospel Time show. Do you remember that?
Okay, wow. Okay, forgot about all that. Okay.
That was on the Opry Friday night.
On Friday night.
That's right. Every Friday night after the Opry ended, Grand Ole Gospel Time, GOGT, would start. And
a lot of people stay over. Will a lot of people stay over and play?
Absolutely. Jimmy Katz, Spider Wilson, Joe Edwards, John Reese, or Willie Rainsford, Leon Rhodes. They were all hanging out playing.
Darin Favorite was telling us in the other segment that his talent was recognized, and he was sent to LA, invited to go to LA to become a part of a symposium. So you work out there and pick up all this other. You said when you got back to Nashville, you look back on what had happened to you in California, and you got exposed to people that had changed everything in music.
Yeah, it did. I mean, even Bob Dylan.
Okay. But the guys you worked with had worked with Little Richard and Sam Cooke and everybody.
Right. Bumps Blackwell. He was, his legacy is I had no idea. He played the vibes for Billie Holiday.
Oh, wow.
So,
Quincy Jones, all these people out there then. Yeah.
Right. That Bumps was their instructor when they were in Seattle in the Guard. If you look back at their life's history, you'll see that they all have that in common, coming from that, where Bumps was the music director, and then he stuck it out with them, and then Little Richard came along and Sam Cooke came along, and his story is quite an interesting one. Yeah. R.A. Bumps Blackwell.
Okay. Look him up. Darin is an extraordinary guitarist. When you look back at that, how much did that contribute to your life and to your work then?
Oh, it was the switch that changed me from just wanting to be a rock star kind of Eddie Van Halen guy to wanting to play everything. I wanted
Okay.
to play classical, flamenco, country, jazz, funk, R&B, rock and roll, all of it.
Okay. So what happened to you then? You come back to Nashville, and what's the next phase then there?
The next phase is working with like local bands like Brentwood and the Brower Brothers. I worked with them for a while. Those were like just bar bands. Went around, played Holiday Inns and
Right.
stuff like that. But I got picked up by Patty Loveless. Was my first big audition that I did and that was in '92, I think.
Okay.
I got the gig. You know, I was a little gun shy, I believe, for that tour. So it lasted for maybe 3 months.
Okay.
And then Ricky Van,
When that
yeah.
happens, who calls you, or how does that get set up? Somebody just calls you and say, "Hey, would you like to try out with us?" Or
Yeah.
Okay.
The audition process is usually the music director. Say in this case, it would be Scotty Simpson,
okay.
the bass player, or Ron Fairchild, the keyboard player, or both.
All right.
But they'll usually give you a call and say, here's 6 songs, learn them. We've got 3:30 to 4:30 slot open if you want to audition. And you either go yeah or no.
Okay.
And yeah.
How many people will they take a look at before they make a call?
When I did them, I would max out at about 12. I
Oh,
would narrow
wow.
it down to about 12 people.
Okay.
If it's a real key spot, guitar, bass, drums, BGVs and acoustic, I probably would only go through 5 because I can whittle that down quickly.
Yeah. But if it's a key position, you're going to take a look at 12 people or so. Okay.
Yes.
So you get on Patty Loveless. It lasts about 3 months. What's that like? What was that like for you?
It was a George Strait tour. It was awesome. It was great. And
Oh, wow.
it definitely wasn't. I'd never been on in an arena setting quite like that. So I was intimidated at that, in '92 and '93.
Okay.
I was still like 25, 26, but yeah, what's funny and ironic about that is I lasted 3 months at Patty, but Ricky Van Shelton, band leader, had heard me play as well. So as soon as he heard I got let go from Patty, he called me up and offered me the gig with him, and she opened for us like for, I don't know, 20 or 30 shows.
So
Yeah,
you leave Patty Loveless, and she winds up being the opening act at your next gig.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It was God's way of saying, you know what? Don't worry about it.
The phone will
universe
ring. The phone will ring again.
Yeah, the universe was being kind to me, Steve.
Not when did you just you're obviously still touring. You continue. How do you balance all that then? You say you wanted to develop skills in all these different styles of music. So how does that start happening? If you're touring, that's one set of life, and then working and practicing and doing studio work is another.
This is what I take to me every day. I take this to the room with me.
Okay.
I'll sit here and I'll practice and play through the material I need to work with today. And then I'll take an hour or two and just write something new.
Okay.
Or I'll work on a melody for a solo, and I try to balance it all by just doing a bunch of
all the
different
time.
things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 40 something years later, you're still working every day.
Oh yeah, I have to play.
Okay.
That's the one thing that's a constant. That's total constant. So I'm going to play my guitar every day.
When did obviously you were skilled. If someone hears you, Little Richard's guy hears you at church and says, "Okay, this kid needs to come to California." Had you ever sensed that, like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, or did that happen after you got out in California or whatever?
Absolutely, it's happened many times. It keeps people's response to certain things I play keep me knowing that I'm doing the right thing.
Okay.
Because I feel like God gave me a really good gift in the fact that I can emote pretty good through my guitar.
Okay.
So if I'm feeling something, you're going to feel it with me. I want to make sure of it.
Do you get to bring that to live shows? I mean, because you're doing established artists and songs and whatever, and You have any flexibility there?
Oh yeah, every
Okay.
night. Yeah, they let me play whatever I want to on the
Okay.
solos. Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Because you're Darin Favorite.
well, just I did it that way, and they loved it, and so
Okay.
they like, you just play whatever you're hearing at the time. I'm
Wow.
like, all right, I'll do that.
Okay. That's a pretty good gig. Darin
It
Favorite
is a
with
great
us.
gig.
He's on tour with the Oak Ridge Boys, and he's our guest. We'll be right back with more. Willi X. Evans, Nashville and Parts Unknown. This is Dialogue at E+ TV 6. Welcome back to Dialogue at E+ TV 6. Willi X. Evans, Nashville and Parts Unknown. Our guest is Darin Favorite. Willi is camped out at the Legends of Tennessee Music Museum at the Carnegie in Jackson. Open 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Extraordinary collection of music memorabilia. West to see everything from Eddie Arnold to Bill Boyd, who started the Academy of Country Music, Country Western Music, to Carl Perkins, to whatever. Big Maybell and everybody else.
We'll have to get Darin down here to
Yeah.
tour this thing.
Yeah, this is an extraordinary collection of stuff. Very, very unique. Well, it is a pretty fascinating story with Darin, you know.
It's
It's,
And
yeah.
what I like is he's still working every day. You know, so that's what it takes. That's what we miss. Willie's working every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I play guitar every day.
Yeah, Willie and I take off a decade or two, Darin, and we don't know why we haven't made it any further. You know what I mean? Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Darin, you said you were interested in doing all these other things. You obviously do your own recording, your own work, and everything else. And so, what is there something that has emerged as favorite, or this is what I still want to do out there? I take it there is. If you're still practicing.
I like the I'm really into the old 40s, 50s, 60s jazz, pure stuff. I mean, I
Okay.
really love it, the melodic choices, but I also write, you know, just pretty stuff. You know what I mean? Just good sounds with simple melodies and technique that some people might know, some people might know it. It might impress them, it might not. I don't play to impress anymore. I just try to make people feel the emotions of the piece of music.
Okay.
That's like what everybody tries to do with their movies, with their songs. I mean, so I'm working on that. Hopefully one day I'll be able to play on some bigger records.
Okay. How do people find your work? How can people follow you or find out more about this?
They can www.darinfavorite.net is one
.net.
way.
Okay.
.net. Yep.
And that's DARIN, DARIN.
DARINFAVORITE.
.net.
.net.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's got my bio on it so they can read. And then I've got samples of stuff I've produced or written, just all kinds of stuff,
Okay. What is
If I had-
appealing? You say that jazz going back in the 40s. What is appealing to you about that?
The happiness in it. It just sounded just really happy.
Okay.
It just really does. I mean,
Okay.
especially the fast swing stuff.
Okay.
I love fast
Yeah.
swing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the people I've talked to, and of course, it doesn't matter. After World War II, there was kind of a whole new thing that was coming on. It was like,
Yeah.
got through that, and one guy I interviewed one time that had played with Hank Williams Sr. said people wanted to dance wherever you went. It was just like, it's like, wow, got
That's
through that
correct.
one, and we got a little bit of money, and we're young, and so if we survived the war, so let's get after it.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a little bit of that post-COVID.
Okay, that there'll be a sense of joy that if we get past this thing, yes, it's like,
Yes.
wow, it keeps cropping
If
up
we
out
get
there. Yeah.
I know.
The other thing about jazz is, I'm not a performer at all, but just that sense of that ability to explore or to like, we don't know where this is going, but it's going to be good kind of thing. That confidence, I guess you have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that'll be something I'll learn for the rest of my life. I'll never, there's never a completion of that course.
Okay. When you're listening to that, are there certain artists or musicians that you go, okay, that's where I'd like to get?
Pat Metheny's been one that I've
Okay.
listened to for years.
Okay.
George Benson, obviously,
Yeah.
Wes Montgomery. Their note choices, how they phrased. Plus, the Brent Masons. I
Okay.
take a lot off of Brent Mason, so I try to put his style into my bebop style.
Okay.
His open string knowledge or something into the jazz that I play. So it's really different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. That becomes an area. When you hear that, you go, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is what I'm going to continue to pursue out there. And so,
Yeah.
It's amazing too to me that we're adapting the stuff that's already out there, but and there are new things that are being created in the sense of new music, but the fundamentals are still already there. It's almost like we're just kind of building on a foundation that's already been set by past
Yep.
generations of musicians.
It's all across the board. I mean, that's vinyl's making a resurgence.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just cycles, and I didn't believe that when I was young. I'm like, oh no, this will never happen again. It all happens over again.
Oh man, there's an analog tape machine out there waiting to be used. You know what I mean?
It will be. It will be.
Somebody will bring this in and say, hey, let's record this like they used to. Everybody at the same time, 1, 2, 3, go.
The Foo Fighters did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's definitely something it's reemerging. So it's.
Darin is on the road with the Oak Ridge Boys right now. He's just been in Jackson, Tennessee, as we're doing this show. Is the road work still fun?
Yes.
Okay.
The time I spend on the stage playing is absolutely goes by in a blink. The traveling can be really good or have really rough days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some airports, when you start seeing canceled flights, you have to hustle to make up just like everybody else does.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's ups and downs of the travel, but yes, every time I step on stage, I love it.
Okay. So that's the magic. Why you keep doing it out there. Okay.
Yeah.
I take it from the sound in your voice, you're not contemplating winding this down.
Not for a while.
Not for a while. Okay.
No. I've been on playing, forever, actually. I mean, I'll either have my own trio or organ trio or something with my wife, Heidi.
Okay.
She sings awesome. We've actually posted a few Christmas videos here and there on Facebook and had pretty decent viewership. So, yeah.
Or so look for Darin Favorite. Once again, DARIN FAVORITE, Darin Favorite. And so a trio is kind of what, when you're just on your own, that's what you like to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
either an organ trio or straight up bass drum trio.
Okay, well, good. Well, Darin, appreciate you taking time. I know you've got a lot of things to do, and we appreciate you taking time to talk with us. It's a fascinating journey to go from
Thank you, Steve.
Jimmy Snow's church to LA to all over the world. It's an amazing,
All over the world.
You're carrying that guitar and still liking it, still practicing every day. Willi, now we know what it takes.
That's right.
Yeah. We just need to go back and get a little
hug from Dolly at 8.
Yeah, that'll change your life.
Yeah, there's a lot of places we have been, and Dolly Parton giving us a hug is one of them.
You never forget it.
I wouldn't forget that.
Yeah, I wouldn't forget that. Darin, thanks a lot for sharing the time, man. A real pleasure.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thanks so very, very, very much. Thank you, Willi, for setting this up. Thanks to you for being with us. And stay with us here at E+TV6 because this is the place where the dialogue continues.
A foggy day in London town. He had me low, he had me down. I viewed the morning with such alarm. The British Museum had lost its charm. Long I wondered, could this thing last? But the age of miracles, he hadn't passed. For suddenly I saw you there, and through foggy London town the sun was shining everywhere. Such alarm. The British Museum had lost its charm. How long I wondered, could this thing last? But the age of miracles, it hadn't passed. For suddenly I saw you there, and through foggy London town the sun was shining. And through foggy London town the sun was shining. And through foggy London town